It's your movie review, Suburbicon, I think it's pronounced. I saw the movie tonight, and there was about 5 people in the theater, but it's Monday night in New England, and 5 people is better than nothing. And it was a weird time for the movie. It was 6:40 p.m. It's not quite that 7 o'clock block. It's not the 9 o'clock, and it's not a matinee, so it's really an oddball choice. But anyway, spoiler alerts. If you're watching this review, you're going to get some spoiler alerts. The first thing I want to say is it's a well-made movie, not worth seeing. How about that? The subject matter is, it's like the 1950s, mid-50s, or 60s. There's themes of, it's kind of a hypothetical city, I think, called Suburbicon, and you think it's going to go to some, once again, spoiler alerts, you think the movie's going to go to some places like Edward Scissorhands, like this fictional town, but it's really not a peculiar, or Pleasantville, if you remember that one. George Clooney directed, which I did not realize until the end of the movie. I mean, I knew that Matt Damon was the star. I was pleasantly surprised to see the beautiful and talented and award-winning Julianne Moore. I want to say she's an Oscar award winner, but she's definitely won some Golden Globes or something. But Julianne Moore, one of those actresses that still looks great. I mean, going back to Boogie Nights, Shortcuts, I mean, all these films that she's been in the late 90s, but I'm sure before that. I just don't remember everything she's been in. The first time I think I saw Julianne Moore was a Hugh Grant, really garbage comedy with Tom Arnold, if you remember that one. I can't remember the name of it. The baby or something. She's having a baby, or someone's having a baby, or some such thing. But in any event, Julianne Moore still looks great, still a great actress. She did her part. Matt Damon did his part. I know he's under siege these days for his Weinstein connections, or his work, professional work, or former friendship, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And this movie kind of starts off kind of preachy about, this is, I'm just telling you how I felt. I could be wrong. But the movie starts with kind of this preachiness about racism and so forth, which is fine. But you're seeing Matt Damon in this thing, and you're kind of like, well, okay, Hollywood elite, who are you to preach against middle America given your problems with Weinstein? I mean, that's how I felt. And maybe I'm off base for thinking that way, but it just felt like another preachy Hollywood movie, pointing out the horrible history of the American public, which is fine, it's true. But it's kind of like, okay, well, let's do a little analysis of you guys. Let's see what happens a year from now, 2 years from now. Will Hollywood crucify themselves about their sins and turning the fucking corner and not examining their own damn problems, okay? Now then, we move forward. There's basically two, and once again, spoiler alerts, there's basically 2 stories going forward in this movie. It's the African-American couple that's moved into the neighborhood. Their characters are not fully developed, all right? So, I mean, they have these African-American people in this film, but if you really lined up the amount of dialogue, they probably had, of the 3 people, the mother, who I believe was in Get Out, the father actor, I'd never seen him before, and the son actor, who was quite good, but really didn't have much to say. I mean, these characters had no development. They were in the movie, and they were the victims of racism, but they had no development, no arc, nothing. Just noble people being assaulted and victimized. And then the whole shtick is that their neighbors, which is the real focus of this movie, Matt Damon's character and Julianne Moore, and I won't give away all of it, but suffice to say, Julianne Moore, basically the big part of the plot is this subterfuge or this collusion that I could see coming. I mean, I just saw it as soon as it happened. I knew what was happening. You know what I mean? It was no big aha moment. The kid actor was good. There's a heavyweight, a overweight actor who played the uncle who was quite good. I never saw him before, but it was kind of a movie where I couldn't really put. I guess the commentary that Clooney as director, whoever wrote this thing, I guess the Coen brothers and Clooney and someone else wrote this together as a 4-person fucking script, was everything on the surface is not as good as it seems. That and white people are fucking assholes and evil. Okay, those are the messages of the movie. Now, why do I say such a thing? Well, because basically Damon, who's supposed to be the everyday average guy, is a fucking asshole. Julianne Moore, she plays more than one character. Like I said, spoiler alerts, and one of those characters is a fucking witch, and everyone's a victim. But there's really no cheering interest because the only characters that are really positive in this movie, and so you just see that this is not a poorly made movie or a stupid movie. It's just not an enjoyable movie. But it's not so insightful to the human condition that it's going to teach you anything you didn't know. Racism is horrible, and killing people is evil, and so forth. And you have to be held accountable for your sins, and blah, blah, blah. So there's nothing really new under the sun with this fucking film. It wasn't horrible. It was well acted. It was well shot. It was well edited. It had that typical Hollywood score, like okay, they got whoever does the fucking score for most movies that you see did this score, meaning the music, the non-lyrical music. I don't think there was any theme song or anything, just the typical, emotional violin, whatever the fuck. It was just it was a movie that if it came out in 1995 or even 92, maybe it would have had some impact on me, or maybe even in the 80s, it would have had some impact. But honestly, we've seen a lot of movies like this. We've seen Pleasantville. We've seen a lot of movies that have that commentary on how bad things are and how bad people are. And then there's some little hope at the end, some little hope of magic. And there's the only thing you really say is that the movie tries to make a point, I guess, that kids suffer a lot, whether it's through seeing racism in their literal backyard and front yard, as the poor kid does in this movie, or seeing, once again, spoiler alert, murder, then basically childhood can suck, life can suck, people suck, and we just made a movie about it. So I can't really say it's a good movie. I can say it's a well-made movie, but once again, my goddamn opinion is it's a well-made movie I didn't enjoy. So on the, $0 to $10, whatever the fuck to spend your dollar on, I'd say $3. It's basically a movie that you can't say it sucks. It's not dog shit, but it's not enjoyable. And I can't say that I have any great human revelations or some great insight into the world of anything. Go to my website, distancefromavalon.com, MikeMessier.com. Watch The Nature of the Flame. Watch Thanksgiving. See some movies with some hope and some cynicism and some interesting points. And this movie script for Suburbicon or whatever the fuck, it just wasn't that good. So you can dress up a piece of shit film script. You can put great actors in the movie. You can convince them that they have to be in this movie. You can put a great costume, great set design, which this movie had all those particulars, millions and billions or whatever the fuck amount of money into this thing. But the point is, without a great story, well told, Robert McKee 101, you're not going to do anything for me. That's why you have 5 people in this movie theater, okay? So my basic point is this. You can see this movie or not see this movie. I don't know. I know that I'm pretty sure that Clooney has directed other films before. I mean, I know he's produced. I'm pretty damn sure he's directed. I'm thinking about all these he's done. I mean, I like Clooney. I like Damon. I like all those assholes. Love Julianne Moore. She's still very great, a great actress. You can't argue with these people. But this particular movie was not so insightful or serious. I mean, it wasn't even like a pop culture thing. Some weirdos walking around the path out there. He's probably thinking some weirdos in his car talking on the phone or something with a flash on himself. But you couldn't even say that this movie was so profound and insightful and cutting edge like a Get Out. I mean, if you put Get Out, which came out about a year ago, against this movie head to head, you could say that this movie, Suburbicon, directed by Clooney, maybe it had more things, how am I trying to put it, like, it was better constructed maybe, or maybe the production team was tighter or some bullshit. But if you're going to talk about a movie that really jolted you or gave you some type of edginess, the only connection is the lead actress, one of the leads, was in both of these films, the African-American lady, you can only say that Get Out actually jolted people. It meant something. Whereas Suburbicon, with all the Matt Damons notwithstanding, it's just another fucking movie that you saw. So it's one of those rainy day movies, which it is a rainy day. You go see a movie, you kill 2 hours of your life, and you move on with yourself. So if you want to see some good content in this goddamn world, go to MikeMessier.com. Watch the Messier Mantra. Watch so forth and so on, Distance from Avalon. I think my things that I write are much superior to Suburbicon, to be quite honest with you. I don't care if it's the Coens and Clooney or whoever the fuck wrote it. My scripts are better. So that's MikeMessier.com. If you want to look at my stuff or whatever the fuck, do what you want to do. But I'm just telling you that Suburbicon is a well-made movie not worth seeing. I said it 3 times, and I'll say it up to the day I die. They'll put it on my fucking gravestone. Mike Messier said that Suburbicon was a well-made movie not worth seeing because it's all insights and story that you've seen before and other things. There's really nothing in it that really makes you say, gee whiz. If anything, the kid actors were pretty good, and Julianne Moore was great, and Damon, blah, blah, blah. He was him. Not bad. I mean, nothing's wrong with the movie. The set design and the costumes, but if you're sitting there trying to pull shit out of your ass and say, this movie had great set designs and costumes, then you're really reaching. It wasn't riveting, okay? So George Clooney, a great fucking guy with all his hot wives and Stacy Keibler and all this shit. But look, pal, you might need a new script writer in your goddamn world. And why don't you just call my ass up and I'll give you a script? Or I'll work a deal out with my entertainment lawyer. Because you can't write your own script, apparently, because you're just writing something that would have been provocative in 1997, not 2017, going to 2018. This is not Oscar-winning stuff. This is not cutting edge. It's just by the numbers, blah, blah, depressing crap. So there you have it. $3. That's all it's worth. A well-made movie not worth seeing. Suburbicon, that's your review. I'm out.